Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Story Saturday. So glad you are here. How is everybody doing? Hopefully, it's a beautiful Saturday wherever you are, or Sunday, depending on where you are. Mm, it is a beautiful day here. I'm questioning why I decided to schedule these at 4:30 on a Saturday afternoon. Because the weather is beautiful and I want to be outside. So maybe don't eat that. Thank you. Sorry, cat. So maybe I'll push time back later. We'll see. I don't know. But hi, everybody. Welcome to Story Saturday. We're going to give it a few minutes for people to get in here. Today, we are reading chapter 6, The Toltec Path to Freedom. It is a really long chapter. So hopefully my voice holds out because this is my third live this week. I don't normally do that many lives. So maybe I'll take a break midway through, but we're going to power through. We have this one, and then we have next week will be our final week with the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. This is being recorded. So if you are new today and just joining and you want to listen to, hi, Tessa, glasses off. Hi, Tessa, first time here. Welcome. So glad you're here. You're going to kind of get a cheat sheet then if you're starting on this week, because this week kind of takes all the individual chapters and puts it all together. So if you stay and you like it, all of these have been recorded. So there is a way to go back and watch the replays of the previous weeks if you want that. So like I said, we're going to finish up this week and next week with the 4 Agreements. And then I just put in today the next one. I'm just waiting for Insight Timer to approve the lives. The next one we're going to start is Just One Thing by Rick Hansen. So super excited about that too. Awesome. Hi, Caitlin. Welcome, welcome. So as you all know, Insight Timer did an update and it has drastically changed the way teachers' live screens are. So we cannot see your bubbles. Apparently that they are aware because so many teachers have complained. One of the other teachers on here sent me a Reddit. Oh, sorry, not allowed to say that. Sent me a thread where somebody was complaining about it, and Insight Timer answered them directly and said that it was not intentional. With the update, they did not mean to take away the bubbles, because right now I have no idea who's in the room unless you comment. I cannot see you. No idea. And none of us like that, because that's the main reason we like Insight Timer, right? Is the community and the way that we all really engage with each other and everything. So crossing fingers, hoping they get that fixed soon. And also our chat box is super small now. So hopefully maybe they can do something about that too. But we make it work either way, right? Love the 333. Love the platform, love being here. All right, so there is no right or wrong way to do this. If you just want to listen, listen. If you want to take notes, write in a journal. If something piques you and you want to write a reflection, write a reflection. Like I said, no right or wrong way to do this in any way, shape, or form. So I'm going to read. Hi, Solomon. Happy Saturday or Sunday to you. So I'm just going to be reading, and then after the reading, we can have a discussion if you have any questions about it, anything like that. We can have a discussion, and if not, then we go about our day. So that is what we're doing. So Tessa is definitely new, so I'll give my little spiel. So hi to those who don't know me. My name is Casey. I am a licensed mental health therapist, holistic health practitioner, Reiki master, and intuitive medium and guide. I have been on Insight Timer. Hi, Butterfly Rain, coming in from Canada. Welcome, welcome. We're just getting ready to get started. I have been a teacher on Insight Timer for about 8 months now. Before that, I was a user of that for about 5 to 6 years. and it changed my life. So I wanted to come on and be a teacher and come full circle on here. So like I said, for those that have just popped in, because excuse me, some people just jumped in. I'm gonna be reading chapter 6, The Toltec Path to Freedom by Don Miguel Ruiz today. We're gonna hope my voice holds out because it's a long chapter. So bear with me if I have to take water breaks. These are, like I said, being recorded, so there is ways to see the replay of this week and any other week if you miss it. So without further ado, I am going to get started. Okay. All right. Final clear. Let's all send good energy to my throat. All right, everybody. Chapter 6, The Toltec Path to Freedom, Breaking Old Agreements. Everyone talks about freedom. All around the world, different people, different races, different countries are fighting for freedom. But what is freedom? In America, we speak of living in a free country. But are we really free? Are we free to be who we really are? The answer is no, we are not free. True freedom has to do with the human spirit. It is the freedom to be who we really are. Who stops us from being free? We blame the government, we blame the weather, we blame our parents, we blame religion, we even blame God. Who really stops us from being free? We stop ourselves. What does it really mean to be free? Sometimes we get married and we say that we lose our freedom. Then we get divorced and we are still not free. What stops us? Why can't we be ourselves? We have memories of long ago when we used to be free and we loved being free, but we have forgotten what freedom really means. If we see a child who is 2 or 3, perhaps 4 years old, we find a free human. Why is this human free? Because this human does whatever he or she wants to do. The human is completely wild, just like a flower, a tree, or an animal that has not been domesticated. Wild. And if we observe humans who are 2 years old, we find that most of the time, these humans have a big smile on their face and they're having fun. They are exploring the world. They are not afraid to play. They are afraid when they are hurt, when they are hungry, when some of their needs are not met, but they don't worry about the past. They don't care about the future, and they only live in the present moment. Very young children are not afraid to express what they feel. They are so loving that if they perceive love, they melt into love. They are not afraid to love at all. That is a description of a normal human being. As children, we are not afraid of the future or ashamed of the past. Our normal human tendency is to enjoy life, to play, to explore, to be happy, and to love. But what has happened with the adult human? Why are we so different? Why are we not wild? From the point of view of the victim, we can say that something sad happened to us. And from the point of view of the warrior, we can say that what happened to us is normal. What has happened is that we have the book of law, the big judge, and the victim who rule our lives. We are no longer free because the judge, the victim, and the belief system don't allow us to be who we really are. Once our minds have been programmed with all that garbage, we are no longer happy. The chain of training from human to human, from generation to generation, is perfectly normal in human society. You don't need to blame your parents for teaching you to be like them. What else could they teach you but what they know? They did the best they could, and if they abused you, it was due to their own domestication, their own fears, their own beliefs. They had no control over the programming they received, so they couldn't have behaved any differently. There is no need to blame your parents or anyone who hurt you in your life, including yourself. But it is time to stop the abuse. It is time to free yourself of the tyranny of the judge by changing the foundation of your own agreements. It is time to be free from the role of the victim. The real you is still a little child who never grew up. Sometimes that little child comes out when you are having fun or playing, when you feel happy, when you are painting or writing poetry or playing the piano or expressing yourself in some way. These are the happiest moments of your life, when the real you comes out, when you don't care about the past and you don't worry about the future. You are childlike. But there is something that changes all of that. We call them responsibilities. The judge says, wait a second, you are responsible. You have things to do. You have to work. You have to go to school. You have to earn a living. All of these responsibilities come to mind. Our face changes and becomes serious again. If you watch children when they are playing adults, you will see their little faces change. Let's pretend I'm a lawyer, and right away their faces change. The adult face takes over. We go to court, and that is the face we see, and that is what we are. We are still children, but we have lost our freedom. The freedom we are looking for is the freedom to be ourselves, to express ourselves. But if we look at our lives, we will see that most of the time we do things just to please others, just to be accepted by others, rather than living our lives to please ourselves. That is what has happened to our freedom, as we see in our society and all the societies around the world, that for every 1,000 people, 999 are completely domesticated. The worst part is that most of us are not even aware that we are not free. There is something inside that whispers to us that we are not free, but we do not understand what it is and why we are not free. The problem with most people is that they live their lives and never discover that the judge and the victim rule their mind, and therefore they don't have a chance to be free. The first step towards personal freedom is awareness. We need to be aware that we are not free in order to be free. We need to be aware of what the problem is in order to solve the problem. Awareness is always the first step, because if you are not aware, there is nothing you can change. If you are not aware that your mind is full of wounds and emotional poison, you cannot begin to clean and heal the wounds, and you will continue to suffer. There is no reason to suffer. With awareness, you can rebel and say, that is enough. This is enough. You can look for a way to heal and transform your personal dream. The dream of the planet is just a dream. It is not even real. If you go into the dream and start challenging your beliefs, you will find that most of the beliefs that guided you into the wounded mind are not even true. You will find that you suffered all those years of drama for nothing. Why? Because the belief system that was put inside your mind is based on lies. That is why it is important for you to master your own dream. That is why the Toltecs became dream masters. Your life is the manifestation of your dream. It is an art, and you can change your life anytime if you aren't enjoying the dream. Dream masters create a masterpiece of life. They control the dream by making choices. Everything has consequences, and a dream master is aware of the consequences. To be Toltec is a way of life. It is a way of life where there are no leaders and no followers, where you have your own truth and live your own truth, A Toltec becomes wise, becomes wild, and becomes free again. There are three masteries that lead people to become Toltecs. First is the mastery of awareness. This is to be aware of who we really are with all the possibilities. The second is the mastery of transformation, how to change, how to be free of domestication. The third is the mastery of intent. Intent, from the Toltec point of view, is that part of life that makes transformation of energy possible. It is the one living being that seamlessly encompasses all energy, or what some people call God. Intent is life itself. It is unconditional love. The mastery of intent is therefore the mastery of love. When we talk about the Toltec path to freedom, we find that they have an entire map for breaking free of domestication. They compare the judge, the victim, and the belief system to a parasite that invades the human mind. From the Toltec point of view, all humans who are domesticated are sick. They are sick because there is a parasite that controls the mind and controls the brain. The food for the parasite is the negative emotions that comes from fear. If we look at the description of a parasite, we find that a parasite is a living being who lives off of other living beings, sucking their energy without any useful contribution in return, and hurting their host little by little. The judge, the victim, and the belief system fit this description very well. Together, they comprise a living being made of psychic or emotional energy, and that energy is alive. Of course, it is not material energy, but neither are emotions material energy. Our dreams are not material energy either, but we know they exist. One function of the brain is to transform material energy into emotional energy. Our brain is the factory of the emotions, and we have said that the main function of the mind is to dream. The Toltecs believe that the parasite, the judge, the victim, and the belief system has control of your mind. It controls your personal dream. The parasite dreams through your mind and lives its life through your body. It survives on the emotions that come from fear and thrives on drama and suffering. The freedom we seek is to use our own mind and body to live our own life instead of the life of the belief system. When we discover that the mind is controlled by the judge and the victim, and the real us is in the corner, we have just two choices. One choice is to keep living the way we are, to surrender to the judge and the victim, to keep living in the dream of the planet. The second choice is to do what we do as children when parents try to domesticate us. We can rebel and say no. We can declare a war against the parasite, a war against the judge, a war against the judge and the victim, a war for our independence, a war for the right to use our own mind and our own brain. That is why in all the shamanic traditions in America, from Canada to Argentina, people call themselves warriors because they are in a war against the parasite in the mind. This is the real meaning of the warrior. The warrior is one who rebels against the invasion of the parasite. The warrior rebels and declares a war. But to be a warrior doesn't mean we always win the war. We may win or we may lose, but we always do our best, and at least we have a chance to be free again. Choosing this path gives us, at the very least, the dignity of rebellion and ensures that we will not be the helpless victim of our own whimsical emotions or the poisonous emotions of others. Even if we succumb to the enemy, the parasite, we will not be among those victims who would not fight back. At best, being a warrior gives us an opportunity to transcend the dream of the planet and to change our personal dream to a dream that we call heaven. Just like hell, heaven is a place that exists within our mind. It is a place of joy, a place where we are happy, where we are free to love and to be who we really are. We can reach heaven while we are alive. We don't have to wait until we die. God is always present, and the kingdom of heaven is everywhere. But first, we need to have the eyes and ears to see and hear that truth. We need to be free of the parasite. The parasite can be compared to a monster with 1,000 heads. Every head of the parasite is one of the fears that we have. If we want to be free, we have to destroy the parasite. One solution is to attack the parasite head by head, which means we face each of our fears one by one. This is a slow process, but it works. Every time we face one of the fears, we are a little more free. The second approach is to stop feeding the parasite. If we don't give the parasite any food, we kill the parasite by starvation. To do this, we have to gain control of our emotions. We have to refrain from fueling the emotions that come from fear. This is easy to say, but it is very difficult to do. It is difficult because the judge and the victim control our mind. A third solution is called the initiation of the dead. The initiation of the dead is found in many traditions and esoteric schools around the world. We find it in Egypt, India, Greece, and America. This is a symbolic death which kills the parasite without harming our physical body. When we die, symbolizes the parasite has to die. This is faster than the first two solutions, but it is even more difficult to do. We need a great deal of courage to face the angel of death. We need to be very strong. Let's take a closer look at each of these solutions. Sorry for my voice, guys. My allergies are so bad this week, and this is my third live. Hanging in there. Bear with me. The art of transformation, the dream of the second attention. We have learned that the dream you are living now is the result of the outside dream hooking your attention and feeding you all of your beliefs. The process of domestication can be called the dream of the first attention, because it was how your attention was used for the first time to create the first dream of your life. One way to change your beliefs is to focus your attention on all those agreements and beliefs and change the agreements with yourself. In doing this, you are using your attention for the second time, thus creating the dream of second attention, or the new dream. The difference is that you are no longer innocent. When you were a child, this was not true. You didn't have a choice, but you are no longer a child. Now it is up to you to choose what to believe and what not to believe. You can choose to believe in anything, and that includes believing in yourself. The first step is to become aware of the fog that is in your mind. You must become aware that you are dreaming all the time. Only with awareness do you have the possibility of transforming your dream. If you have the awareness that the whole drama of your life is the result of what you believe, and what you believe is not real, then you can begin to change it. However, to really change your beliefs, you need to focus your attention on what it is that you want to change. You have to know which agreements you want to change before you can change them. So the next step is to develop awareness of all the self-limiting, fear-based beliefs that make you unhappy. You take an inventory of all that you believe, all your agreements, and through this process, you begin the transformation. The Toltecs called this the art of transformation, and it's a whole mastery. You achieve the mastery of transformation by changing the fear-based agreements that make you suffer and reprogramming your own mind in your own way One of the ways to do this is to explore and adopt alternative beliefs, such as the Four Agreements. The decision to adopt the Four Agreements is a declaration of war to regain your freedom from the parasite. The Four Agreements offer the possibility of ending the emotional pain, which can open the door for you to enjoy your life and begin a new dream. It's up to you to explore the possibilities of your dream if you are interested. The Four Agreements were created to assist you in the art of transformation, to help you break the limiting agreements, gain more personal power, and become stronger. The stronger you get, the more agreements you can break until the moment comes when you make it to the core of all of those agreements. Going to the core of those agreements is what I call going into the desert. When you go into the desert, you meet your demons face to face. After coming out of the desert, all those demons become angels. Practicing the four new agreements is a big act of power. Breaking the spell of black magic in your mind requires great personal power. Every time you break an agreement, you gain extra power. You start by breaking agreements that are very small and require less power. All those smaller agreements are broken. Your personal power will increase until you reach a point when you can finally face the big demons in your mind. For example, the little girl who was told not to sing is now 20 years old and she still does not sing. One way she can overcome the belief that her voice is ugly is to say, "Okay, I will try to sing, even if I do sing badly." Then she can pretend that someone is clapping and telling her, "Oh, that was beautiful." This may break the agreement a teeny tiny bit, but it will still be there. However, now she has a little more power and courage to try again and again until finally she breaks the agreement. That's one way out of the dream of hell. But for every agreement you break that makes you suffer, you will need to replace it with a new agreement that makes you happy. This will keep the old agreement from coming back. If you occupy the same space with a new agreement, then the old agreement is gone forever, and in its place is the new agreement. There are many strong beliefs in the mind that can make this process look hopeless. This is why you need to go step by step and be patient with yourself, because this is a slow process. The way you are living now is the result of many years of domestication. You cannot expect to break the domestication in one day. Breaking agreements is very difficult because we put the power of the word, which is the power of our will, into every agreement we have made. We need the same amount of power to change an agreement. We cannot change an agreement with less power than we use to make the agreement, and almost all of our personal power is invested in keeping the agreements we have with ourselves. That's because our agreements are actually like a strong addiction. We are addicted to being the way we are. We are addicted to anger, jealousy, self-pity. We are addicted to the belief that tells us, "I'm not good enough. I'm not intelligent enough. Why even try? Other people will do it because they're better than me." All of these old agreements, which rule our dream of life, are the result of repeating them over and over again. Therefore, to adopt the four agreements, you need to put repetition in action. Practicing the new agreements in your life is how you best become better. Repetition makes the master. The discipline of the warrior, controlling your own behavior. Imagine that you awake early one morning, overflowing with enthusiasm for the day. You feel good. You are happy and have plenty of energy to face the day. Then at breakfast, you have a big fight with your partner and a flood of emotion comes out. You get mad, and in the emotion of anger, you spend a lot of personal power. After the fight, you feel drained and you just want to go and cry. In fact, you feel so tired that you go to your room, collapse, and try to recover. You spend the day wrapped up in your emotions. You have no energy to keep going, and you just want to walk away from everything. Every day, we awake with a certain amount of mental, emotional, and physical energy that we spend throughout the day. If we allow our emotions to deplete our energy, we have no energy to change our life or to give to others. The way you see the world will depend upon the emotions you are feeling. When you are angry, everything around you is wrong. Nothing is right. You blame everything, including the weather. Whether it's raining or the sun is shining, nothing pleases you. When you are sad, everything around you is sad and makes you cry. You see the trees and you feel sad. You see the rain and everything looks so sad. Perhaps you feel vulnerable and have a need to protect yourself because you don't know in what moment someone will attack you. You do not trust anything or anyone around you. This is because you see the world with the eyes of fear. Imagine that the human mind is the same as your skin. You can touch healthy skin and it feels wonderful. Your skin is made for perception, and the sensation of touch is wonderful. Now imagine you have an injury and the skin gets cut and infected. If you touch the infected skin, it is going to hurt. So you try to cover and protect the skin. You will not enjoy being touched because it hurts. Now imagine that all humans have the skin disease. Nobody can touch each other because it is going to hurt. Everyone has wounds on their skin, so the infection is seen as normal. The pain is also considered normal. We believe we are supposed to be that way. Can you imagine how we would behave with each other if all the humans in the world had the skin disease? Of course, we would hardly ever hug each other because it would be too painful. So we would need to create a lot of distance between us. The human mind is exactly like this description of infected skin. Every human has an emotional body completely covered with infected wounds. Each wound is infected with emotional poison, the poison of all the emotions that make us suffer, such as hate, anger, envy, sadness. An action of injustice opens a wound in the mind, and we react with emotional poison because of the concepts and beliefs we have about injustice and what is fair. The mind is so wounded and full of poison by the process of domestication that everyone describes the wounded mind as normal. This is considered normal, but I can tell you it is not normal. We have a dysfunctional dream of the planet, and humans are mentally sick with a disease called fear. The symptoms of the disease are all the emotions that make humans suffer: anger, hate, sadness, envy, and betrayal. When the fear is too great, the reasoning mind begins to fail, and we call this mental illness. Psychotic behavior occurs when the mind is so frightened and the wounds so painful that it seems better to break contract with the outside world. If we can see our state of mind as a disease, we find there is a cure. We don't have to suffer any longer. First, we need the truth to open the emotional wounds, take the poison out, and heal the wounds completely. How do we do this? We must forgive those we feel have wronged us, not because they deserve to be forgiven, but because we love ourselves so much we don't want to keep paying for the injustice. Forgiveness is the way to heal. We can choose to forgive because we feel compassion for ourselves. We can let go of the resentment and declare, that's enough. I will no longer be the big judge that goes against myself. I will no longer beat myself up and abuse myself. I will no longer be the victim. First, we need to forgive our parents, our brothers, our sisters, our friends, and God. Once you forgive God, you can finally forgive yourself. Once you forgive yourself, the self-rejection in your mind is over. Self-acceptance begins, and the self-love will grow so strong that you will finally accept yourself just the way you are. That's the beginning of the free human. Forgiveness is the key. You will know you have forgiven someone when you see them and you no longer have an emotional reaction. You will hear the name of the person and you will have no emotional reaction. When someone can touch what used to be a wound and it no longer hurts you, then you know that you have truly forgiven. The truth is like a scalpel. The truth is painful because it opens all of the wounds which are covered by lies so that we can be healed. These lies are what we call the denial system. It's a good thing we have the denial system because it allows us to cover our wounds and still function. But once we no longer have any wounds or any poison, we don't need the lie anymore. We don't need the denial system because a healthy mind, like healthy skin, can be touched without hurting. It's pleasurable for the mind to be touched when it is clean. The problem with most people is that they lose control of their emotions. It is the emotions that control the behavior of the human, not the human who controls the emotions. When we lose control, we say things that we don't want to say and do things that we don't want to do. That is why it is so important to be impeccable with our word and to become a spiritual warrior. We must learn to control the emotions so we have enough personal power to change our fear-based agreements, escape from hell, and create our personal heaven. How are we to become warriors? There are certain characteristics of the warrior that are nearly the same around the world. The warrior has awareness. That's very important. We are aware that we are at war, and the war in our mind requires discipline, not the discipline of a soldier, but the discipline of a warrior, not the discipline from the outside to tell us what to do and what not to do, but the discipline to be ourselves no matter what. The warrior has control, not control over another human, but control over one's own emotions, control over one's own self. It is when we lose control that we repress the emotions, not when we are in control. The big difference between a warrior and a victim is that the victim represses and the warrior refrains. Victims repress because they are afraid to show the emotion, afraid to say what they want to say. To refrain is not the same thing as repression. To refrain is to hold the emotion and to express them in the right moment, not before, not later. That is why warriors are impeccable. They have complete control over their emotions and therefore over their own behavior. The initiation of the dead, embracing the angel of death. The final way to attain personal freedom is to prepare ourselves for the initiation of the dead, to take death itself as our teacher. What the angel of death can teach us is how to be truly alive. We become aware that we can die at any moment. We have just the present to be alive. The truth is that we don't know if we are going to die tomorrow. Who knows? We have the idea that we have many years in the future, but do we? If we go to the hospital and the doctor tells us that we have 1 week to live, what are we going to do? As we have said before, we have two choices. One is to suffer because we are going to die and to tell everyone, poor me, I am going to die, and really create a huge drama. The other choice is to use every moment to be happy, to do what we really enjoy doing. If we only have 1 week to live, let's enjoy life. Let's be alive. We can say, I'm going to be myself. No longer am I going to run my life trying to please other people. No longer am I going to be afraid of what they think about me. What do I care what others think if I'm going to die in a week? I'm going to be myself. The angel of death can teach us to live every day as if it is the last day of our life, as if there may be no tomorrow. We can begin each day by saying, I am awake. I see the sun. I am going to give my gratitude to the sun and to everything and everyone because I am still alive. One more day to be myself. That is the way I see life. That is what the angel of death taught me, to be completely open, to know that there is nothing to be afraid of. And of course, I treat the people I love with love because this may be the last day that I can tell you how much I love you. I don't know if I am going to see you again, so I don't want to fight with you. What if I had a big fight with you and I told you all these emotional poisons that I have against you and you die tomorrow? Oops. Oh my God, the judge will get me so bad. And I will feel so guilty for everything that I told you. I will even feel guilty for not telling you how much I love you. The love that makes me happy is the love that I can share with you. Why do I need to deny that I love you? It is not important if you love me back. I may die tomorrow or you may die tomorrow. What makes me happy now is to let you know how much I love you. You can live your life this way. By doing so, you prepare yourself for the initiation of death. What is going to happen in the initiation of death is that the old dream that you have in your mind is going to die forever. Yes, you are going to have memories of the parasite, of the judge, the victim, and what you used to believe, but the parasite will be dead. That is what is going to die in the initiation of death, the parasite. It is not easy to go for the initiation of death because the judge and the victim will fight with everything they have. They don't want to die. And we feel we are the ones who are going to die and we are afraid of death. When we live in the dream of the planet, it is as if we are dead. Whoever survives the initiation of the dead receives the most wonderful gift, the resurrection. To receive the resurrection is to arise from the dead, to be alive, to be ourselves again. The resurrection is to be like a child, to be wild and free, but with a difference. The difference is that we have freedom with wisdom instead of innocence. We are able to break our domestication, become free again, and heal our mind. We surrender to the angel of death, knowing that the parasite will die and we will still be alive with a healthy mind and perfect reason. Then we are free to use our own mind and run our own life. That is what, in the Toltec way, the angel of death teaches us. The angel of death comes to us and says, you see, everything that exists here is mine. It is not yours. Your house, your spouse, your children, your car, your career, your money, everything is mine, and I can take it away when I want to. But for now, you can use it. If we surrender to the angel of death, we will be happy forever and ever. Why? Because the angel of death takes the past away in order to make it possible for life to continue. For every moment that is past, the angel of death keeps taking that part that is dead, and we keep living in the present. The parasite wants us to carry the past with us, and that makes it so heavy to be alive. When we try to live in the past, how can we enjoy the present? When we dream of the future, why must we carry the burden of the past? When are we going to live in the present? That is what the angel of death teaches us to do. Whew. That was a lot. That was a lot, a lot. How are we feeling about all that? Some pretty heavy stuff, right? And this book was written in the 90s, and literally what he is just teaching us about is mindfulness, right? Living in the present moment, because it's the only thing we can control. We can't control the past, can't control the future, living in the present moment. In addition to that, living, practicing, and living, breathing, and practicing the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. Those are ways that we break free from the domestication, the old agreements, and we meet the angel of death and say, yes, take it with you. I don't want it anymore. It's not serving me. It's hurting me. I'm tired of being stuck. I'm tired of feeling wounded, right? I'm tired. Hi, Jacqueline. I waved to you when I was reading. I saw you pop in. I didn't want to stop reading. Butterfly Rain, you're welcome. Hi, Simon. The Boom is called. What did I say? All right, hold on. Let me ask my guides to help me get back to what oh, the book. Thank you, Caitlin. Sorry. The book is called The Four, hold on. The book is called The Four Agreements, and it's by Don Miguel Ruiz. So we've been doing this every week. This is our 6th week. We have 1 week left. Next week will be the last chapter. If today was your first time here and you really resonated with it, I have recorded every single one that we've done. And if you go to my about section on my insight timer, you can go down to the bottom, and that directs you where you can find out more information about me. And on my website, it can tell you how to see the replays of them, because we're not supposed to mention things off of Insight Timer. So I'm going to respect Insight Timer's rules and not do that. So yeah, book, I gotcha. Caitlin got you. I was still trying to figure it out, but Caitlin figured it out. Book. And I should, because autocorrect kills me all the time. All the time. I should have been able to figure out book. So my apologies to you. The Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz. It's a great book. It's stood the test of time. It was written in the 90s and it's still considered a very pivotal, influential book. Ooh, 33. 34. Because of its impact. It's so simple, but it's so hard to do, right? It's so simple, but it's so hard to do, because we are basically having to challenge all of our agreements, our belief systems, and having to let go of all of the things from the past that we're carrying with us. And that is a big job. It is a big job. And they don't want it. They don't want to go. They don't. In Israel, it's very popular, Orna. Awesome. Yeah, because I mean, literally, think about it. That resonated. Awesome, Simon. Awesome. The weeks before we read them, the chapters, it explained each of the 4 agreements in detail, each chapter in and of itself. So you can certainly go and rewatch those or get yourself the book. It is definitely not something that you're not going to probably read again if you get it, right? Because what are we? We're humans, right? We still have to live life. We still have to interact with other people who are not walking the path and have not come out on the other side, and we still have to interact with them. So we might have to pick the book back up again and remind ourselves at times, because we are human. We are. And it can be really easy to get sucked back in, right? Especially because there is so much negativity in the world. There's so much negativity, fear, and division in the world that it's constantly being thrust in our face. So we really do have to be the warrior. We really do, protecting our personal agreements, our personal power, our mind, our emotions, and how we choose to live our life. We can't control how anybody else lives their life. Even if we want to, we cannot. All we can control is our life and how we respond. And as I was reading that, I cringed a couple times, where I'm a licensed mental health therapist. He gets to the point, but some of the wording I don't like about the emotions, because Then he got to it with the warrior. Like the warrior, we're not pretending like emotions don't exist. We're not saying that they can't exist. They can exist and they should exist. We're all going to have emotions, but it's how we handle them, how we process them, and what we do with them. And that's kind of his point, is we can't repress them or project them. And that is what our wounded self does most of the time, right? Either I don't want to feel this, so I'm putting it somewhere, or I can't handle this right now, so I'm going to project it out onto somebody else. And even though you didn't really do anything to me, if I'm angry, I'm going to lash out, right? So the warrior says, all right, I'm feeling very angry right now. All right, why am I feeling angry right now? And really dives into it and says, okay, is this me? Is this them? What do I need to do something about it? Do I need to communicate something, or is something being triggered in me? And that's what I need to work on. And then kind of work through the feelings and do with them what we need to do with them. Bye, Mona. Thank you for being here. I'm almost done, honestly. My voice is was not doing so hot through that, so I don't know how much longer I have to talk anyway today, unfortunately. 3 lives a week is probably not good for me. I'll stick to my 2. I will stick to my 2. Those work well. All right, let's see. What's that? Caitlin says, I liked not the discipline from the outside to tell us what to do and what not to do, but the discipline to be ourselves no matter what. 100%. 100%. That was my talk that I did last night, was basically like, I don't care anymore. I mean, I already do live the 4 agreements. It was hard work and I did it. And sometimes I have to go back. But I don't take things personal, because I know that 99% of the time, the way that people talk to me and treat me has nothing to do with me. Unless I have actually said something to them or done something to them, the way people interact with me is all about them and what's going on with their agreements and their emotions. I do not make assumptions, because I don't know. I know that unless you verbally communicate to me what you're thinking, feeling, what your needs are, I have no idea what those are, and I can't even try to guess. I do try to be impeccable with my word, because it's important. Language is a gift that humans have that others don't. I mean, yes, animals have ways to communicate, but they don't have the spoken word. Language is such a gift that we have, and the way that we use it, the words that we use, the tone of our voice, the language that we use, all of it is so important, not only with how we speak or think about ourselves, but about other people. So, will I do it again? Orna, this is being recorded right now, so you can watch the replay anytime you want. All of them have been recorded. If, like I said, if you go to my About section on my Insight Timer teacher profile, you go all the way to the bottom and it shows you a link of how to reach me. And once there, if you go to my website, it will show you. Scroll down to the bottom, you'll see Insight Timer free meditations, and there's going to be a box right in there that shows you how you can watch all the replays. So you can watch it at your leisure, whenever you want to, whenever you want to. All 6 of them, well, all 5 of them are already on there, and then this one should be on there by tomorrow. Because what I'm recording it on is super quick. So it should be there tomorrow, and then you can watch it whenever you want to. Yeah, I came too late. It's okay. You came. You came and you found out about it, and now you found a way that you can watch it whenever you want. So you came right when you needed to, right? Right when you read it to. Jessica says, love the message from the angel of death. I never thought of her like that. Most of us don't, right? Most humans are so stuck in fear. That still has not changed from the 90s to now. So many people are still stuck in fear, and they're still so afraid of death. And being able to reframe it that way is a wonderful way to try and get us to recognize that we do only have one life, and it's not long. When you think about the existence of the world and how long things have been around, human lifespans are a blip. They would be like trying to find your house from an airplane 20,000 feet in the air, right? Yet we get so caught up in all of this mess down here that we forget to live. We forget to live our lives and enjoy it. Does that sound a little naive at times? Sure, it does, of course, right? Because we are humans. We have bills. We have to have a job. We have responsibilities. We have all those things. We're not saying shuck all that, go live in a hut in the woods to be able to live impeccable. We're not saying that, but it's doing it in a more insightful way, in a more meaningful way to you if you can. Some people might not be able to, right? Some people might not be able to like change their career and they hate their career and it's stressful. So if you can't change that, what else can you change around yourself that is going to help make it easier for you to incorporate these agreements? And at least when you're not at work, being more happy and being more at peace with yourself and living that way. And when you are at work, not taking things personally, not making assumptions, being impeccable with your word, doing your best, right? Changing our attitude and changing our belief system and changing the way we treat ourselves and love ourselves can have a ripple effect because others around us then see that and go, oh, okay, well, she's different now. Like, she's not engaging back with me when I lash out at her or him. Well, now it's not as fun for me to lash out at you because you're not engaging back with me, right? So, us changing ourselves can have a ripple effect on others around us. Hmm. All right, everybody. Trying to find, you have to go to my website. Oh God, my phone is recording right now. Go to the thing that says sign up for my newsletter, go there, Simon, because that basically takes you to my homepage and then just scroll to the bottom. Oh, Ellen's in Colombia. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Making you miss Ocean City. Absolutely. That's where my sister and her boyfriend are today. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Maybe I will do. Thank you for that, Simon, though, because that I just broke down and got that. And that isn't very clear. So I will probably update the name on those buttons, or maybe I will just make a button that directly takes you there so that people can find it a little easier. So thank you, Simon. You helped me today be able to help you guys find things easier. So work in progress, right? Um, yes, Ellen, I like it, but we're getting ready to go into tourist season, so then it gets real crowded. And unless I want to wake up at 4 a.m., which I don't, we can't get on Acetig anymore. Sunset, the link is there of where you can, they are, I'm going to type in the comments the initials so that way I'm not saying it. Sunset of where you can find it. Hopefully this is okay and I don't get in trouble for this. Oh, 2 L's. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, it does get crazy. It does. But I love it. All right. Um yeah, that's another thing I've been considering because on here my name is my name, obviously, but my business is called Elevation Wellness Studio, so that confuses people sometimes. That's why I tried to put the links directly on my homepage so that all you have to do is like click on there and it directly takes you to it. You're not searching somewhere looking for Casey Wilson and you're not going to find it. So maybe I need to be more clear about that too. So, but I appreciate you all very much and the interest in wanting to watch it again and everything like that. Ooh, 108 have joined. Magical number 108. Um, I could, Caitlin, but I feel like everybody knows me for my name. So I think what I'll do is maybe I will change in my about section. At the bottom, I will probably put Casey Wilson. of Elevation Wellness Studio. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. Everything is so, I don't know. Yeah. It's an idea and I thought about it, but I don't want my website and my business to be called Casey Wilson. So I was like, we'll just figure out a way to link it. So if you go to my about section, the link that at the bottom, it used to be directly to my website. But then so many people started asking me about if they could donate to me, not on Insight Timer because they have an Apple device and they didn't want Apple to take the 30% cut. So that's why I ended up switching it to the LINKTREE, because that way I can put the links to everything. So I'll go on there later, the LINKTREE, and I'll put a direct link to the replay channel on there so that you all can literally just boom, click it, and it'll take you right there. And then I'll make sure I rename one of the buttons that say Elevation Wellness Studio website or something. I don't know. I'll play with it and figure it out. But thank you. Thank you all for the suggestions. It's all a work in progress, right? All a work in progress. So next Saturday will be the last week with the 4 agreements. We will be reading the last chapter, and that is The New Dream, Heaven on Earth. And then there is a closing prayer, which I will ask if you all want me to read it. And if you do, I will read it. And if you don't, then we don't have to do it. Oh, sorry. Actually, I probably will read the prayer just because the last chapter is only like 6 pages. So I'll read the last chapter and then I'll read the prayers. And they pretty much, I mean, they're prayers, right? So it's a different version of a guided meditation. So I'll read the last chapter and then we'll do a guided meditation prayer journey, for a prayer for freedom, prayer for love, a prayer for freedom, and a prayer for love. So that is how we will end our time with the 4 agreements next week. I do plan on keeping Story Saturday going. So the book that we're going to do after this is, oh God, hold on. Oh. If you guys are interested in this is the book we're going to do next. Just One Thing by Rick Hansen. It is developing a Buddha brain, one practice at a time. So if these are practices each day that can help you be good to yourself, enjoy life as it is, build on your strengths, be more effective at home and work, and make peace with our emotions. And it's broken up into parts. We're going to start with part 1, which is be good to yourself. Then there's enjoy life, build strengths, engage the world, and be at peace. So, yep. Yeah, thank you, Ellen. Thank you. I'm trying to find books that work well in this format, because it is, I don't want books that are like 30, 40 page chapters, because nobody wants to sit and listen to me talk for that long. And to me, with someone with ADHD, I would lose focus and I wouldn't be able to stay with it. So I'm trying to pick books that are good for this type of format, that have chapters that are relatively decent size, and then we can have discussions about it. And that book has you're definitely going to want a journal, notepad, or something, because this Rick Hansen's book, there is literally over 50 practices in it. So this is a book where you're not just going to come and kind of like this one, you kind of sit and listen with it and think about how you're going to do it. This one is actually going to give you things. Okay, this is something you can do, or this is something you can do, or this is something you can do. So it's a little bit more skill-based and tool-based. So, yeah, what were we saying? Yeah, today's isn't going to be up yet because I'm still recording. So today's live will be up tomorrow, because I'm recording it on my phone, but I'm recording it on ZOOM. And then that saves it for me. That sends it to me in my email. And then I download that recording and that's what I upload. So today's live won't be there till tomorrow, but all the rest of the weeks are there now. So bear with me. As soon as I get the email that that they've, done whatever they did, saving it for me and sending it to me, I will immediately put it up there. Z is normally pretty quick about that, so it is possible I could have it up later tonight. It just depends on how long it takes them to send me the email, but once I get it, I will upload it directly onto there. So awesome. All right, everybody. So for those of you that have come in and this was your first time here, my name is Casey. I am a licensed mental health therapist, holistic health practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive, medium, and guide. I host 2 lives a week on here. I do Wisdom Wednesday on Wednesday nights. That starts at 7:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I do oracle card readings. I start with a light energy reading of what's going on astrologically. I've channeled a card for the collective. I read that, and then I open it up for individual readings. And then my second live is this, Story Saturday. So like I said, next week we'll wrap up with the 4 agreements. And then the week after that, we'll start with Just One Thing by Rick Hansen. So if you don't follow me already, I'd love for you to follow me. If you connected, engaged, and liked the material. And then if you do decide to follow me, right above the donate button, there's 3 dots. And if you click on those, you can hit notifications. And anytime I put out a new live or new material, you'll get notified. Rating and reviewing tracks also helps out your teachers. It helps bump our offerings up higher in the algorithm. And for a newer teacher like me, that really helps because mine are buried at the bottom. So those are all super free ways you can help support every teacher on here, not just me. And we appreciate it. Throwing hearts up during lives, absolutely. Yeah, it is. I can't do it with it, or Insight Timer will block the comment, but that is the website. Just instead of DOT, it's the actual thing. But if you put the actual link in there, Insight Timer will take the comment out because we're not allowed to share links and things like that. But yes, it literally is just elevationwellnessstudio.com. So, and then that is the name of the channel as well, is Elevation Wellness Studio. So awesome. All right, everybody, thank you for being here with me. If it is your Saturday afternoon or evening, I hope you have a good rest of the day. If it's your Sunday, I hope you have a good rest of the full day. And hopefully I will see you all back next Saturday, or maybe see you Wednesday night. Good morning. Yes, Faye, it's morning for Faye in Sydney, Australia. So hopefully Faye will have a good Sunday. And if you are a mother, happy Mother's Day to you, because it's already your Sunday. So, all right. All right, everyone. Thanks for being here. Talk to you all later. Bye.